And staying with the courts, the 14th witness in the case of rape and human trafficking trial of a televangelist, Timothy Omotoso, is expected to take to the stand in the High Court in Gqeberha today. Melucia Jiyani is expected to testify about statements submitted by accused number 1, Omotoso. The trial resumes today after defense advocate Peter Daubermann completed his cross-examination of Cheryl Zondi on Wednesday. Our reporter Lerato Fekisi is back on this case and gave us this update.
Very good morning. We are broadcasting live from the Gqeberha High Court where, as you said, Melucia Jiyani will give her testimony on what rape accused Timothy Omotoso's statement says. When we closed off on Wednesday, Cheryl Zondi's testimony was brought to an end during her cross-examination with defense lawyer Peter Daubermann. He really focused on 3 things and poked holes at these 3 things. He first argued the reason why in all the 3 statements she made to the police, to advocate Ntelo, who has recused himself for this case, and also the one she wrote down, why she never pointed out that Timothy Omotoso had allegedly penetrated her during the less sexual assaults that she had during the time she was in the notorious Durban house, because Daubermann was saying that in court she kept mentioning that Timothy Omotoso, on all times where there was sexual violation, Timothy Omotoso penetrated her, but yet this was not written down in all her statements. So Daubermann argued, why would she say that she was penetrated, but this not written down in her statement, saying that perhaps she had made this up and had lied. In her argument, she came back and said that at the time this happened, she was a naive 14-year-old who didn't know what sex was, who didn't know what penetration was, but ended off by saying that what she's definitely sure of is that his private part did enter her private part and there was slight penetration, and she's not sure why both Captain Brenda and Advocate Ntelo did not write it down in their statement. He then went further to ask why then she left in 2013, left the house, left the church, and then returned again when she was 19 in 2015, back again to the same man she alleges abused her. She then went to say that she returned to the house because she wanted closure. She really wanted Omotoso to show some remorse for what he allegedly did to her and wanted to get some apology from him. And that's why she went back, also saying that she also went back because she missed the fellowship that she found in the church. Daubermann then went on to ask, why didn't she go find another church? Because obviously in her hometown where she was now, there must definitely have been other churches she could have gone to attend. And she said there's this something about Jesus Dominion International that made her want to go back. It was the ambience, the fellowship, and above all, the melodic voices of the choirs that she wanted to go back to. So lo and behold, she went back in 2015, and she alleges that yet again, after coming back here in Gqeberha, where Omotoso had a B&B, where 20 girls were staying in that B&B, that she found that if anything now, this alleged promiscuous life he was leading was out in the open. She described how the girls in the house here in Gqeberha were wearing skimpy shorts, skimpy t-shirts, and Omotoso would walk around, and she says spank their bottoms, and she realized that this man hadn't changed. And she says that when she went to his room upstairs on the second night and went to greet him, the one thing he did say was that he forgives her for what she did. And she realized then that this man, who many were saying had changed, had not changed at all. And she says a day later after that, she yet again was called up to his room like she was many years ago, and was asked by him to perform oral sex. She was then forced into bed, where she says Omotoso had sexual interactions with her. She was asked to go clean herself, and then she says yet again he called her into bed, prayed the same prayer he made when she was 13, that God must forgive them, and he pleaded the blood of Jesus upon them both. And then she says that many of the times he would actually fall asleep on her chest, and he was heavy, and should feel his beard on her chest, and said this continued for about 5 months until eventually, while at a convention in Durban, she decided that this was going to be the last of it. And she explained how she eventually escaped from this home, how one night during a night vigil she threw her bag out of the window, called a cab, opened the door of the gate and ran out. And that was when she left the church and never heard from Omotoso again. And then during his closing arguments, Timothy Omotoso, in his statement that Daubermann read out, said that he still maintains his innocence. He maintains maintains he never made any sexual advances against Cheryl Zondi. He maintains that he's still innocent. He never sexually violated her. When he did speak to her and called her fire, there were no sexual connotations to that. He maintains there was never penetration during the alleged sexual allegations that she has against him. And he maintains that all he wanted to be to her was a mentor, a father figure, and someone who's going to teach her to become the great musician that she wanted to be. So he ended off by saying he maintains his innocence, and Cheryl Zondi ended off by saying that he's lying, that he did sexually violate her. And she ended off with this quote when she ended that there is no way that the semen that she felt and she saw on her thighs, which were by Omotoso, can be a lie. And if that is a lie, then she does not know, because she still maintains that he is someone who sexually violated her and really changed the trajectory of her life in the most negative way. So this morning we'll hear what Melucia Jiyani will say, an account of what, and reply to the accounts or the statements made by rape accused Peter Timothy Omotoso at this case here in Gqeberha. For now, let's go back to in studio.